For this Back to Basics mini course, we're going to be talking about sympathetic villains and how to write them. Each Back to Basics course includes a video, a transcript posted to our blog, and a challenge to help you experiment. Let's look at the basics. Every hero needs a great villain. Great villains not only make the hero's journey that much more dangerous, but can also make your story more captivating to your audience. A great villain is one who is not only cruel, but has a reason for said cruelty. A great villain is one who believes that they're the hero of their own story. Great villain is one who the audience can feel sympathy for. So, how should you do it? Well, let's start with step 1. Establish a backstory. Antagonists are a lot like protagonists in the sense that they should have a backstory established. Backstories work well for establishing motives for any characters. Your backstory should show who your villain used to be. There's also plenty of different ways backstories can be shown, such as with the flashbacks example. If you'd like more information on flashbacks, we have an entire video dedicated to this topic, and the link will be in the description down below. Number 2. Show how they were wronged. This may be the most important rule of thumb to follow for creating sympathetic villains, and it ties back nicely to the first rule. You need to show the audience what happened to the villain to make them the way that they are, and that is usually done during the backstory. What was their defining moment? What was the thing that wronged them and set them on their path? Example. In an episode of Batman the Animated Series titled Heart of Ice, fans are introduced to Victor Freeze, a scientist using company equipment and funds to try and find a cure for his dying wife Nora. Victor gets confronted by his boss, who, upon discovering this, kicks Victor into volatile chemicals, which turns him into the villain known as Mr. Freeze. Heart of Ice not only firmly established Victor's motives, but showed how he was wronged. He tried to do everything to save his wife and was punished for it. Heart of Ice is regarded as one of the best episodes of the series and won an Emmy for outstanding writing in an animated program. Freeze's backstory used in the show was so well received that it became the official origin for Mr. Freeze going forward. Great villains need to have reasons for why they do the things that they do. Showing them wronged in some way is the biggest way to drum up sympathy for your villain, because it lets the audience understand why they are the way that they are. Number 3. Draw the line, don't have them compromise. I think this rule is pretty important because too often writers fall into a redemption trap. Often when writers set out to make their villains sympathetic, they hit many of the right steps. They give them a complex and intricate backstory, they show how terrible their lives were. They do everything right to get the audience to sympathize. But then, a lot of times, writers become tempted to try and redeem their villains. So, make sure you know where to draw the line. While anti-heroes aren't inherently a bad concept, I think it's important to be able to firmly know where your villain stands. Villains who become completely redeemed by the end should be the exception rather than the rule. Sympathetic villains don't need to be redeemed. They can toy with the idea of redemption that maybe they can change, but ultimately, they don't. For them to be truly a villain, they need to be unwilling to compromise in their values. If anything, that's the ultimate tragedy. We, the audience, may desperately want them to change for the better, but in the end, they won't, further solidifying who they are. Villains. We can understand and sympathize with the events that happened to them, but we can't support their current actions. Now that you know a little bit more about creating sympathetic villains, try your hand at the challenge. Choose one of the following prompts to make a villain sympathetic. Remember to utilize the tips that were outlined above. The story should be anywhere from 700 to 3,000 words. The villain is someone who will go to unprecedented lengths to unravel the protagonist. The villain is currently held in a maximum security prison for the murder of someone close to the protagonist. The villain is a wealthy tycoon who is trying to put the protagonist out of business. Thanks for joining us on this Back to Basics course. If you try this month's challenge, you can share it on our forum or on social media using the hashtag WWB2B. Better Writer subscribers can submit their challenge for feedback as soon as possible. Read through the blog post on this course for more detailed information to help you through the challenge. If you liked this video and you want to see more, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Special thanks to our Back to Basics coordinator, Izan, for creating this course. Thank you, and I will see you all next time. Bye!